Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates, and we're continuing with our magic comic book based characters. And we don't go to Marvel or DC, we go to Dark Horse this time with Hellboy, the 2004 movie, the first one by Guillermo del Toro. And no, I find it appropriate for starting with this one.
Question. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Guillermo del Toro?
I thought it was Guillermo.
Guillermo is the American version.
Ah, Guillermo.
Guillermo, yeah.
Guillermo, okay.
Yeah. But we decided to start on this one and not the 2019 version because we wanted to keep our sanity for once. And this one still, honestly, it does hold up, and I still really like this movie.
It was a good opener for Dark Horse. Like this kind of, how would I say it? They kind of gave us a taste of their world. You don't see much. It's still very small. All you see are creatures with like prosthetics and actors with prosthetics and creatures, very practical creatures as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot of CGI, to a degree.
Yeah.
But I would say it's not like Golden Army where they give us a whole seedy underbelly of like mythical creatures, and it is missing that, but it is a start. This is the first movie that Dark Horse is coming out with.
Yeah, and like Dark Horse is usually known for adaptations of known properties like Star Wars. They did the Star Wars Legends. They did Aliens versus Predators, and but this I think this is one of the few original characters that they brought to the big screen at least, and it is one hell of a start, and it's an interesting way to introduce people to a character that ultimately people would decide like we like this character even though he's not Marvel or DC. He is truly something else.
Yeah, and it also helps that Mike Mignola's artwork kind of makes Hellboy, especially the covers, stand out.
Yeah, and like Mike Mignola's style and Guillermo del Toro's style blend, at least for me, blend excellently well. Like two visionaries coming together and creating this film is extraordinary.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's enough of the background of Hellboy and what we think of it. Going to the plot, we open on the tail end of World War II, and Professor Broom and a company of men are searching out the occult laboratory, essentially, looking for the Nazis who are desperately, at this point, trying to win the war.
Where was this? I forgot. Like
Scotland.
Alright.
And like, they do find the lab, and among the ranks are Cronin, who is Hitler's deadliest assassin, and Grigory Rasputin, who is Romanov's advisor on the occult, but he supposedly died in Russia, but he's here now, and he's trying to summon the Ovchut Jihad, and that's a hard word to try to say with a serious face, but it is. Reading it now, well, when I read the comic books, I'm like, yeah, this name's still silly, but holy fuck, what? I forgot what.
No, it's akin to like Lovecraftian.
Yeah, I was about to
monsters,
mention.
like Dagon or Cthulhu. Well, I mean, I think the cult was kind of like Cthulhu something.
Yeah,
like it's a play on Cthulhu, the character.
Yeah, it's another division of the occult called the Dual Society, which Hitler was himself a part of. But they stop him, they override the reactor before the Ovchut Jihad can come here. And Cronin's injured, but he escaped. And in the wake of it, Broom and army photographer spot a young Hellboy. And they're like, what the fuck is that?
Right? I will say this. I know it's gonna be hard for filmmakers to do it, but I do prefer Hellboy when he has the hooves for feet. Like I prefer that kind of that design a little bit more than regular boots and leather pants.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But shorts and hooves, it's kind of cute.
Yeah. And they decide to keep him, and they have a photograph with him, and that's when the true formation of the BPRD forms, the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense.
Yes. And you gotta love it how these World War II soldiers didn't question it. He's like, let's give this thing a name.
Yeah,
Like they're not like we have to shoot it.
yeah.
It represents something we go against.
Like, you know what? We're fighting evil. Why not fight it with evil? Evil against evil. Why not?
Yeah, play fire with fire.
And I don't know
Fight fire with fire.
if you've seen like comic covers of like young Hellboy, but it's like, oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, yeah, it is like okay, it is akin to, like it matches the style of this movie.
Yeah. Cut to present day, and unfortunately, Professor Broom finds out he's dying, and Agent Myers is essentially brought in to be the new
It-
babysitter, essentially, of Hellboy.
Or I'm thinking it's like is he supposed to be the next Brew? That's what I was thinking. Like, oh, is he the predecessor? You know, like mentoring this kid before he leaves.
I'm trying to remember.
Sad to say, he wasn't there in the second movie. Like,
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
last long.
I was about to say, like, I'm trying to remember if he was there. I haven't seen the second one in a while, but it should be a fun revisit too.
He wasn't there. They did mention like, oh, they transferred him to another
Hmm.
precinct or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, we see Hellboy portrayed by Ron Perlman, and this is everybody's, well, no choice. This is everybody's favorite Hellboy actor at this point. Like, David Harbour did a good job, but unfortunately, the way he portrays Hellboy, and
Hey, boy.
the way the stretch, and I'm just like, I still prefer Ron Perlman. Sorry, Sam, if you're watching this.
No, but it's okay. I get you. This is the Hellboy I grew up with. I haven't seen that Hellboy yet.
Hmm.
I cannot judge. So you say it's a horrible movie. A lot of people say it's a horrible movie. A lot of people like it as well. I haven't seen it yet, so I have no, I have no say in this.
Yeah.
But yes, Ron Perlman as Hellboy was my childhood Hellboy.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him as anybody else, and even the voice, like I associate Ron Perlman's voice with Hellboy.
Yeah, and after reading the comics, I'm like, wow, Ron Perlman really gives off the vibe of Hellboy. This
Yeah.
badass with a heart of gold, but is still, for lack of better term, he's childish. Like, he keeps
Yes.
breaking out, keeps throwing tantrums, and Professor Broom's like, when he, especially since he's dying, he's like, I just worry about him, as a good father should.
Yeah.
But it's also here that we meet Doug Jones, who plays Abe Sapien, who they found in the late 19th century in some tank, and he was named Abe because he was found the day Abraham Lincoln was shot. So there's a coincidence there.
Yeah, and he is the brains, while Red is the bronze.
Yeah,
Red being Hellboy.
yeah. And then this starts out like, oh, we got a call, we have to investigate some other paranormal activity, and you find out that the FBI is also working with the BPRD, and Tom, who's in charge, is like, I don't know what a Hellboy is. You guys are delusional. Every picture of him you have is blurry, so you have no concrete evidence.
You gotta love it, like at the beginning, like when they're showing the logo of
Yeah.
Hellboy, you see like Bigfoot kind of footage
Yeah.
of him walking away. I'm like, I love this whole like, oh, is he real? Is he a myth? There's a photo of him, but it's very blurry.
Yeah.
And there's one photo of him with like his hopes for legs.
Yeah.
So that was inaccurate. I was like, I love that.
Yeah. And then Hellboy gets sent to fight this creature, Samael, who is this
Samael.
hound. Yeah. And like he kind of kills it at first, and Abe is like, there's more to this tale as I'm reading it. Like, one thing is the Hound of Resurrection, and Hellboy's like, fuck. And
God damn it.
Sam's just like,
Yeah.
bitch!
And say what you will. When people fight with prosthetics, it is a little bit, janky.
Yeah.
But they committed to the costume.
Yeah.
You see every crevice and every detail, every nook and cranny that they got was done by hand.
Hmm.
Sure, he's swinging his arm as if he's like, he doesn't know how to use them, but like, it's so good. It looks so good.
Yeah.
There's no the uncanny valley of like, it looks real, but for some reason something's wrong.
Yeah, and as Hellboy crashes through the window and to the ground floor, he meets Rasputin, who's like, at last, my child, we meet, and he's part of his plan to again summon the Auju Jihad. Again, the name is really tricky to say, and I've been practicing for a while. Stops Samael in the train station, and he doesn't go right away to the BPRD. He goes to the person he's still hung up on, the servant.
Yeah. And
the actress name escapes me for some reason, but she hasn't been allowed to. But I do like Liz Sherman's character here, and like her deal is like her emotions control her power, and her power is fire. So that's very dangerous.
And we do have a glimpse of like a horrible accident where some kids were bullying her. I don't think it was an accident. Pretty much a kid poking a poisonous snake.
Yeah.
And getting his comeuppance, which is death.
Yeah. But you see, I do buy the chemistry between Hellboy and Liz. Like these two people that like
a little bit, yeah.
I want to be with you, but I can't be with you because I look like this. I'm not normal.
He can't go out with her. That's why when you see the scene with what's his name, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, John and Liz, as they go out. Sure, at the beginning we see that John's like telling her like, "Hey, Red loves you," and you know, you gotta understand his feelings. But at the same time, he's kind of flirting with her.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. But back to what I was saying, like Red sees that, hey, when she's with a normal guy, she looks like the happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
This is something I cannot give because of how I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, it takes a toll on it.
Yeah. And then they eventually find Red and with Liz, and they bring him back to BPRD, and they also figure out like, oh shit, this thing lays eggs, and we have to destroy it. But Rasputin enacts a plan where he, what does he do? He kisses Liz Sherman, and that triggers her memories back, and she causes an accident where she is being held, and because of that, she's sent back to the BPRD.
Yeah. And what you expect from a man from Russia long ago?
Yeah.
He was big and strong. Sorry. Every time I hear the name Rasputin, I go back to the song.
But yeah, before that, they do once again travel to the train station, and they discover more eggs. But they also that's where Cronin is in. That's where one of his hideouts are in. So they separate ways, and poor Ape Sapiens all alone with the Samaels in underwater, and then he's being hunted down, and he has to escape. I'm playing.
You know what this scene reminded me of? Remember that scene from Harry Potter in Goblet of Fire?
Yeah.
Exact same scene. Hated, murky, shallow, not really shallow, deep, murky waters.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Ape Sapien is a fish.
Yeah.
But, like, if I was a fish, I wouldn't even go in there.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's when Cronin encounters the agents, and I do love his blade work.
A little too flashy for my liking, because, like, somebody would be, like, on the ledge or about to die, and he just starts to flip this thing. He's kind of like that guy who's like, traitor! He does that. He just didn't become a meme because memes weren't really big.
A thing back then.
In 2004.
Yeah. Hellboy is distracted because he's ambushed by a bunch of other Samaels. And then poor Clay, who's the former agent who Myers is under, gets killed by Cronin.
Yeah.
That's a big loss for Hellboy.
He gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Did they say he makes it?
Not in this movie.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Hellboy is able to defeat the Samael while balancing a box of kittens too. He's like, lady, give me a break.
My kitty! I was like, bitch, don't you know what the fuck I'm fighting? And don't you know what I am?
Yeah.
But he's very much exposed to the outside world. Everybody's looking at him. And it just shows like, hey, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that. Gets hit by a train. His horns are on fire. That's not cool.
I'm one of the good guys. Sure you are. Bang.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. Gets hit with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. And then he goes back to Clay because he notices the gunshots, and Cronen's like, "Oh shit, this is my chance to infiltrate the BPRD." So he turns off his, I guess, heart rhythm to a slower rate, and he is beside Clay so they can bring him in for experimentation. And they bring them all back in, and you find early on, like they already knew that because of Abe, that Rasputin was enacting his plan to bring back the end of days, essentially. Since he came back in the present time, again seeking revenge. And
Or to continue his plan, not really much of revenge.
yeah, and at the same time, Liz Sherman comes back, and like they're like, "Oh, it's so good that you're here." And at the same time, Tom Manning's like, "You know what, Hellboy? I don't like you because you're reckless."
Yeah. Which was a dick move because, like, drink every time I say because, like,
Yeah.
Hellboy is mourning over his friends who might die, and you have like an asshole of a boss be like, you know, Clay ain't gonna make it. He ain't even gonna make it through the night. And Hellboy's clearly like, not right now, please. But he keeps pushing it, and then gets thrown I don't know,
Yeah.
a huge tank of something.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" Man, I want to punch you. There's nothing redeemable about you.
Yeah. I forgot what exactly Hellboy, Tom says to Hellboy that makes him throw that big piece of metal. But he was literally like pushing his buttons, like, "Man, now's not the right time. You wanna fuck with the guy with a really strong right hand? Is that your plan, sir? What's your plan then?"
Right? Like, this guy is supposed to be superhuman or unnaturally strong.
Yeah.
You really think your authority is gonna stop him from punching your face and painting the back of the wall?
Right. And then later on, Liz and Hellboy do reunite, but Hellboy is essentially grounded. So Myers and Liz Sherman go out on a date, but Hellboy escapes, and he spies on them while this kid is feeding him cookies. And he's like, "You sure they're two spies?" He's like, "Yeah." "What makes you think they're not?" And the boy's like, "Okay, I might be this age when I sense something else."
Yeah, but look at him. He likes her. And like he's doing the arm thing.
Yeah.
That's the odd thing. I really thought this is gonna be the next. This is what I don't like about this movie is that they hinted to us that this John guy is supposed to be big, like a pretty big character. He's supposed to be the next in line from what's his name?
Professor Broom.
Yeah, from Broom. But like we at the start we get like, oh, he's actually there to convince Liz to stay for Hellboy.
Yeah.
But here he's flirting? Why? You could have just kept him as this like, hey, I have no sexual attraction to you. I just want to keep the team together.
Yeah.
This is what Broom would have wanted. And it would have had a way deeper impact if his character was like that. But no, he has some infatuations with Liz. And just had to deal with it at the ending when Liz and Hellboy kiss.
Right.
Which I don't like. I like John, but I don't like how his character went on.
Yeah.
Or progressed.
At the same time, the professor is doing his investigations, and he figures out like, oh, Rasputin's part of Rasputin's plan is to infiltrate the BRD to get an emotional response from Hellboy, so that he can get him to again end the world. And Rasputin goes to Professor Broom and is like, "Don't worry, I'll make this quick." And then Cronin stabs in the back of the neck, and the agents come to get Myers and Liz, and Hellboy's like, "Oh shit, something's not right."
Something's wrong.
Yeah. And then going back a bit, I do like Cronin's design where you find out he's a masochist that he just likes to do surgery on himself. So you're like,
Yeah.
damn, the effects on this guy.
The fact that he took out both of his lips and his eyelids, I was like, "Eesh,
Yeah.
eesh." And he is a masochist, so you saw a shit ton of scars everywhere. He's missing a hand.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he lived that long though.
right? He is a cool character in the comics too, but I forgot how different or the same he looks from here.
I like it. I like his character design. I like it that he's an assassin
Yeah,
and he likes to use blades. He
yeah,
does that Deadpool thing where he blocks it.
yeah.
So,
And then they find out that Rasputin's enacting his big plan in Russia, and Tom's like, "We're all going to Russia," even though I don't like the fact that Hellboy is going with us. Like, sure, what the fuck are you going to do against Rasputin without Hellboy?
exactly. Really, now
Yeah,
you're fighting the unknown without the unknown.
yeah,
Like, okay, go nuts, donuts. It's
yeah,
fine. And you gotta love it that Tom tries his best to take charge.
yeah,
But of course, he has zero control over the team.
yeah.
And he's like, let's make the perimeter on this side of the cemetery, and then we get a squadron to like sweep it and like satellites. And he's like, don't worry, I'll just wake up the dead and ask.
Yeah, right. I was saying Rasputin for some reason. Hellboy wakes up this corpse, and then he gives them directions. At the same time, early on, you see a scene where Rasputin, that's what I was going to say, Rasputin, gets the key, essentially, to unleashing Ogdu Jihad on the rest of the world. And they're going through this cavern, and Tom is really trying to emphasize, like, no, I'm in charge. Because they're all separated because of the trap. And,
Especially when Hellboy's like, all right, we gotta stay together,
Yeah.
separated by walls.
yeah.
All right,
And
comedic
then-
timing. Good on you, Guillermo del Toro.
And then Tom is like, no, I'm in charge. And Hellboy's like, no, look, the door back way is blocked. The only way is forward. He's like, no, I am the person in charge. You listen to me, Hellboy. And then you see this huge thing come across and knocks the agent and the dead Russian guy. The Russian guy's like, thank God, I was better off dead.
Bye, Ivan.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, I was like, Tom pretty much killed that employee.
right?
Like, no doubt about it. He killed that employee by just telling him to stay put.
Yeah,
When Hellboy knew, like, no, we have to keep moving or something bad will happen.
yeah.
But anyway, carry on.
And then they, both Tom and Hellboy encounter Cronin, and I do how, like, it's almost one-sided because Hellboy has brute strength and Cronin just has this flippy assassin thing stuff, and he just keeps caving his mask in. You're like, well, what are you gonna do now, assassin?
That was the funniest shit to me. Like, he just had him. He was like a kid in like recess against a bully, and he's just whack, whack, whack. I'm like, dang. But yeah, of course, Cronin starts to laugh,
Yeah,
and he had a hidden lever that opened up the floor to
Yeah.
spikes. That's not safe.
right. And as Hellboy is dangling, he does this spinning thing again, and Tom is there to save him, thankfully. And then Hellboy pushes Cronin into the pit with spikes, and that won't finish the job. And he takes up this big cog piece, and it's like, "This will kill you, though. That's for Professor Broom, you fucking son of a bitch."
The harsh thing is, Cronin's not dead.
Yeah.
You know he's not yet dead.
Yeah.
So he's stuck like that
Yeah.
forever. Until somebody finds him.
Yeah. Was he in the second movie? No, right?
Nope.
Uh,
But like Tom and Hellboy have this moment where they're like, "Oh, we're finally friends. I'm teaching you how to actually light a cigar." And I'm like, "Man, fuck you.
you're still an asshole.
You're still an asshole."
But yeah, Hellboy goes on his own, and then Tom, what's his name? John and Liz find more eggs, and they're surrounded. So Hellboy breaks through, but he is eventually overcome by these things. And then
This was a cool CGI
Yeah.
fight. It was clean. Like, I think it's the darkness of the room. It's exactly like the T-Rex scene where it's clearly CGI.
yeah,
Oh no, like you can't tell if it's CGI or animatronic because it's so dark and it's raining and it's nighttime. Here it's a little bit dark. You can tell it's a little bit CGI, but it's not as horrible as like today's CGI. Oddly enough.
yeah. Hellboy is come, and then Liz tells John to do something. He's like, what do you want me to do? You're
Slap me.
yeah. And then Liz just ignites her hand. It's like, you better get down, man. And ignites the entire place and kills all the semi-elves and the eggs. But in the confusion, all of them are captured by Rasputin and Ilsa. And Rasputin again is using Liz Sherman to enact an emotional response from Hellboy. Like, if you don't do what I want you to do, which is bring in Audio Jihad, I will steal her soul. No, alright, I'm gonna steal her soul then. And he tries to fight back, but ultimately gives in, and he has to say his true name. I for the life of me, I can't remember. It's way too hard to pronounce right now. But he does that. Yeah, you don't remember either. Yeah, he does that, and his real horns show up, and you're like, that's such a cool name. Every time
It is a really cool design. I like it that he has a floating, flaming horn.
Yeah.
Sorry, crown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I would love to get Hot Toys of this
Version of Hellboy.
version of Hellboy.
Yeah. And he opens one of the logs, and John's like, remember who you are. And he tosses Professor Broom's crucifix, and he remembers who he is. Surprise, surprise. And like, you know what? I don't want to summon Cthulhu from space. And then breaks his horns and stabs Rasputin. And Rasputin's like, you fool. You thought I was just a man. I am actually other Cthulhu. Like, alright. I buy it.
Right? And like another thing is coming out of him, and I'm like, and the Hellboy's like, let's get out of here. I was like, no. Fix the problem. Like, first time watching, I was like, wait a minute.
Right? Like,
It's growing.
Like, what the fuck is Russia supposed to do about this?
Right.
It kills Rasputin and Ilsa. And then Hellboy, John, and Liz make their escape, but like, Hellboy's like, I have to go back and fight it. How big can it be? And he has the grenade belt too. And he's swept by one of the tentacles, while John just like is like, I guess it's Hellboy's job then. What the fuck can I do against this?
Yeah.
And it's is it anticlimactic? It's kind of anticlimactic. It feels like a quick time event when the thing's just manhandling him, and he just has to pull the trigger for the grenade.
Yeah, all the pins, he's fireproof, so he blows up in the monster's belly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we kill essentially an intergalactic cosmic horror creature by just using grenades.
Yeah.
I wish they put more thought into killing the thing.
Yeah, it must have been budget cuts. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. But Hellboy goes back to Liz, and he's like, hey, he whispers something in her ear, and I kind of like,
Yeah.
like, where he's like, hey, if you don't give her back, I'm coming after you. It's either the devil or God he's going after. I'm like, the man threatened a deity and got what he wanted.
Yeah.
How strong is Hellboy?
And like, there's this last bit of dialogue is like, it's the choice that makes you a man, and you see the final scene of Hellboy and Liz kissing essentially.
Yeah, and they're on fire.
Yeah.
Showing that John can never be with Liz because he will be burned.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a pretty good start. It's a very fun start, and again, for something that's not Marvel or DC, the fact that it's so popular, these two films are so popular, you're like, damn, Guillermo del Toro did such a good job making this a world, a reality, and making this character come to life. And even up to now, I know I'm not in the habit of shitting on movies all that much, but like, even before the movie came out, you knew the 2019 Hellboy had big shoes to fill, and unfortunately it couldn't do that.
No.
But yeah, what would you rate this?
4 out of 10. Okay. That's what you gave Constantine.
I'd be shocked if you gave Hellboy 4 out of 10. This one at least.
Nah. This one's a solid 8. Like, it's not a perfect movie. it is a beginning of a really good franchise. Sadly, only lasted 2 movies,
Yeah.
and the world that Guillermo del Toro made with a mixture of Mike Manganiello's art style. Fuck. Mike Mignola's
Yeah.
art style. Sorry. that's Slurrp. My bad. That and it's John Manganiello. But anyway, back to the point. The mixture of both their styles made such an amazing world, and we get to see more of it in the second movie. And it was a really good start when we had a lot of shitty superhero movies like
Yeah.
As for Enzo, is Constantine, Blade, what? What's the name of that one other movie? Fantastic Four, there we go. Yeah, we had those shitty movies.
How can you forget the Three Strikes and You're Almost Out franchise?
3 strikes and a miss. All of them are misses.
Yeah.
You gotta give it that. It's in an environment where it was so hard to get out of the box or push the envelope, making your own path kind of franchise. And they did a really good job with the budget they had. So I gotta give it that. 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll also give us an 8 out of 10. I do like the character and the world, and I feel like if there was ever like a Hall of Fame of comic book characters who made a change in the movie industry, or made a deep impact at least, Hellboy would be one of them, alongside like Iron Man, Superman, Batman, Captain America, and the rest. And Wonder Woman and Black Widow. And yeah, it's such an endearing character, and again, this is such a, for a 2-film franchise, it's so beloved that it holds the test of time, and I'm sure will be remembered and enjoyed for future generations, essentially.
Yeah, I really hope we get to do more Guillermo del Toro movies, because I do love Pan's Labyrinth. And I have not seen Shape of Water yet. So I can't wait if ever we're going to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been our video on Hellboy. What do you guys think? Do you like the first one or second one more? That's the question of the day. I can't remember the second one that much, so I can't really give an opinion on that. But like, when I rewatch it, I guess when we do the second one, I'll give my official answer. Second one's better? All right. But yeah, if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. If you want to see us react to trailers, and stream video games and stream about our lives, we have a Facebook at facebook.com/Geeks and Degenerates. If you want to hear us on the go, we have a Spotify podcast. And individually, you can find me at Gandalf995 on IG and Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at GEOM on Instagram. It is my art account. I was about to say I almost mixed it up.
Oh well. But yeah, for this video at least, that's the end of our time. But yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
That's the end of our time.
I guess
this is it.
Bye everybody.